everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. I left my glasses on today because I'm going to get into some nerd shit for you guys, and we're going to discuss a little bit of math, we're going to discuss a little bit of science, and we're going to get serious about a really popular topic online right now. I had a bit of fun reverse trolling Mike the Rage 191 yesterday, so it's time to get serious again and put out some information. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, today I want to talk to you guys about this no-fat thing. I've had dozens and dozens of requests for me to cover this topic and to really get into the science of it. And I want to cover the myths about it, the positives and the negatives, because there are a bit of both. Now, right up front, guys who are doing this, you're abstaining from masturbating for months on end in the hopes of boosting their testosterone levels. Let's talk just a little bit about testosterone. And I know some of you guys can already see what's sitting behind me. And just before anyone tries to flag this for anything, one, this is illegal to possess for anybody to possess and use in my country, and I have a prescription for it. So go to hell. Now, this particular bottle of testosterone has 4,000 milligrams of testosterone in it. That's 4 grams. I paid about $50 US for this. So, anyone who's looked at research, we know that from research that we've seen, if a person were to use around 500 milligrams of testosterone, the average young male, 500 milligrams, which is an eighth of this bottle per week, they're going to boost their testosterone levels to about 4 times normal. That is a 300% increase. We know from research that at around that level, most men will gain muscle and strength at about twice the normal rate. So in a period of time, if you were on that, if you would have only gained 3 muscles naturally, you're probably going to gain 6 or maybe even 7 pounds during that same time. For every ounce of muscle that you stimulated during a workout session that you would have natural, you're probably going to gain 2 ounces of muscle as a result. That's what happens. About double the normal natural gains and rate of progression is what you're going to see in terms of strength and muscle gains at a 300% increase. Now, when you look at the price of that, $50, that would be 8 weeks, you're looking at approximately $25 US per month. That's a lot less than most guys I know spend on supplements. I know guys who spend way more on protein powder, creatine, and pre-workouts, and I know guys who spend more than that on their pre-workout supplement. So that kind of gives you an idea of how cheap testosterone is and versus its effectiveness. So what guys are doing is they're abstaining from masturbating for months on end, hoping to get a tiny fraction of the gains that $25 a month gives. So that's something to consider there, of just what they're paying versus the benefits. But here's where we get interesting, and I brought this up for a reason. Because that's what we're talking about. That's how cheap testosterone is. That's how easy testosterone is to get into your body. People are going through these long ends trying to get a fraction of that, but they won't get that. At most, this no-fat thing, if it gives anything at all, is going to be no more than a 10 to 20% increase in testosterone for a healthy young man. Now, if a 300% increase only gives you double the normal gains, how much do you think realistically even a 20% increase would give? Stop and do the math. That is 1/15 of that. We're talking about less than a 10% increase in your total gains by abstaining from something pleasurable that you enjoy and that's oftentimes needed for emotional health, mental health, and everything else. And the reality is, we know from research that it is less than that because we cannot measure the gains, meaning it's statistically insignificant. A 10 to 20% increase in testosterone levels is statistically insignificant in increasing muscle mass and strength gains. It's not enough difference for us to actually measure when we study people over periods of time. So, that being said, odds are you're not getting any gains from it. So in terms of your actual gains in that testosterone production, if you're already healthy, is completely worthless. It's pointless. So people have done this for nothing. So what are the benefits? where does this come from? And why are some people seeing some benefits? Well, first off, it's probably placebo for the most part, but there is another element to this, and that element is porn addiction. And we know from all of the research that men who get addicted to porn, or men who frequently masturbate to porn, tend to develop sexual dysfunction as a result of that. And what happens is that they need to rotate through new girls and new scenarios very, very quickly, or they lose their sexual arousal. And it's not uncommon for guys who masturbate to a lot of porn, when they get with a real woman, to lose their heart on 5 minutes in. They lose their erection oftentimes because they're not getting that change in stimulus of seeing a new girl suddenly, or seeing a new partner. And that's generally what they've programmed their mind to do, is usually every 5 minutes or so. Most guys are doing that, change scenes, they change porn, they change girls. And if they don't have a new girl, oftentimes they lose their erection. And the other sexual dysfunction you see from this, it's a very common one, and it's not everyone who does this is going to have this issue, is the inability to come with a real woman at all. A lot of men who are addicted to porn and who masturbate very frequently to porn oftentimes cannot achieve an orgasm when they're balls deep inside some real sugar walls. And these are documented. We have studies on this. This stuff is out there. This has been studied. We know these are very real problems, and they happen in quite a high percentage of these men. So this is a real thing, both of these problems, and sometimes even the inability to get an erection at all with a real woman instead of a woman on the screen, which is, pretty pitiful. So that being said, there are some merits to this, because it may improve your overall sex life, and if you're not masturbating to porn, you might actually go out and meet real women, find a real partner, and generally you're probably going to perform better with her. But it's not masturbation that is the actual cause here. It is the actual porn and porn addiction that is the cause. So I would suggest there are very real benefits to your emotional well-being, your sexual function, which will tie into your sense of self-esteem, your overall emotional health. It all matters. There are very real benefits to this because these guys are abstaining from masturbating to porn frequently. But as far as seeing an actual direct benefit from not masturbating or climaxing at all, I've got to call bro science on that. The science doesn't support it. Basic math and understanding of testosterone and gains doesn't support it. So in that regard, anything you're getting is a placebo. But as far as the other end of it, of the negative sexual dysfunctions associated with porn addiction, that is very real. There is real science studying it. We know it's a real thing. So there are positives to this that aren't necessarily being addressed, while the other aspects are simply not real. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.